And it's lights out and away we go! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast, the final one of 2024 season. I'm joined by David.
Hey, everyone.
And Alan.
Hello.
Making his triumphant return for the end of the season, folks.
What a comeback for change.
Yeah, welcome back. You've been missed.
So, the
24 races across the world, folks, and we've made it to here.
Yeah. It's been a bloody long season.
Tell me about it. And it ain't that long till it starts again.
90 odd.
95 days.
Time of recording, your mileage may vary.
Not that it's keeping calm. I mean, after the race, it was like 96 days till.
Chris has probably got that ticker tape thing in front of him already showing it, don't worry.
I've already got this next year's season. I've already got next. Also, got the start date for next year's weekend in Australia.
Oh, no doubt you will.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's going to be like some interesting things there with, like, what's it going to be, like 6 a.m. races? Jesus Christ.
Like before, that doesn't bother me. I'd rather have that than very late in the evening. Getting up early is not an issue for me. It's being up late on a Sunday night when I have work Monday morning that can prove troublesome.
Yeah, but when have we ever had really, really late races?
You've had the odd ones that have got towards like 7, 8 o'clock at night, haven't you? But
well, that's
Yeah,
not
really
late.
you know, you
Late?
start the times I start, mate.
Says he who sat up playing games till God knows what time in the morning. Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not. I'm always up by 11 and you know that.
No, you're not. Don't make
And our
yourself,
children.
don't make yourself out to be a good one, because we know you're not. So obviously none of us caught practice. I mean, did we miss anything? Just looking at through the results.
I don't think there was anything really.
Apart from oh damn! I knew I should have watched FP1.
Yeah, there's a lot of the young guys in it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and bloody Arthur Leclerc was in Sainz's car.
Yeah, two brothers.
Yeah, Isaac Hadjar was in Max's
Red
car.
Bull.
I'm guessing he
I'm
was
not
in...
even going to try and pronounce some of these names because I would just end up with a lawsuit.
Well, Luke Browning was in Williams.
That one I can manage, thank you very much.
Doohan was obviously in Alpine, obviously.
Yeah.
Which probably did him a favour, in all honesty. The fact that he was going to be in that car for FP1 anyways.
They're probably already in training and sort of ready for it.
Then you had Awasa in RB.
P-Carb. Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull.
Which I've said. And then you had...
Rio Hirakawa in the McLaren.
You had Hirakawa in the McLaren.
And Drugovic in the Aston.
Which, personally, I feel he needs to be in there all the time.
Did you do another one? I think Martin spoke to him on the grid walk, didn't he? And said that you're going to be missed from F1. Well, to be fair, you've got to give Drugovic also, of those new guys, was the highest place as far as I can see here.
Yeah. Well, apart from Carlo Pinto.
Yeah, but would you class him in the same?
What, young driver?
Well, I'm not so much young driver as not actual F1, as in reserve or future drivers. It's Colapinto. He's done like 5 or 6 races at this point, so I'd put him in with the regular crowd.
Yeah, but Colapinto was brought in anyways, so yeah, I would class him as that.
You got to give Colin Pinto, he done absolutely brilliant, Williams, you know.
Oh yeah,
and he also finished 9th in F2.
Yeah. He managed to score more points than Sargent. He unfortunately had a couple of incidents along the way.
And then obviously we were back to usual runners in F2. Max looks like he really struggled. Considering he was down in 17th.
As I always say at this point, though, you don't know what strategy. They could have been doing a lot more long running.
Well, yeah, there is that, but
You know, if they were spending, if they spend, because don't forget, he then basically missed FP1.
well,
So they've then got to compact what would have been 3 into 2.
hmm.
Now, if they've then decided that FP2 is all about, let's say, the heavy fuel loads, because you look at FP3, he was back up to 4th.
Yeah, but look, Hulkenberg and FP2 was in 3rd.
Now, that Haas was not a terrible package at this circuit.
No.
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 That Haas really was not a terrible car at this circuit, as it got proven.
But I think they were just unlucky.
Speaking of unlucky, qualifying 1, a certain number 44.
Which was caused by Haas.
Yeah.
The bollard.
Hey, don't call him that, he might be listening.
Oh my god. You couldn't have scripted that.
Well, how many times have we joked about bollards in the game? How many times have we sort of run through them and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually must admit, I didn't actually catch what happened. I just heard of the aftermath.
No, he... K-Mag was...
Yeah.
Was it K-Mag or Hulkenberg? K-Mag was trying to get out of the way. And as he got out of the way, he sort of bumped the wall, hit the barrier, and flicked it right under the nose of Lewis Hamilton, who was on a fast lap, and it basically took away all his aero performance.
Yeah.
It's like...
But the best thing is, the bollard was actually the same colour
as the car.
as the car.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was colour-coded.
Yeah. It was that green
and white
thing.
Yeah, that Patronus, like, cyan colour they use.
Mm. And... Yeah, I mean... Qualifying was just sort of the usual, apart from when it came to Q2.
Well, obviously, we lost Lewis in Q1, which was a
The
bit
big
upset. We lost Leclerc in Q2.
But he also had...
He was also running a penalty, which basically meant he would have died last. But still, considering their fight with McLaren going into this weekend was not what they needed at all.
No, and obviously the Williams were both running penalties going in because of gearbox.
Yeah.
So they were both running...
All of this helped jump Hamilton forward a little bit, at least.
I think the biggest surprise is obviously is Hulkenberg.
Bottas getting into Q3 as well?
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, Bottas...
Did you see at one point when Bottas set the fastest lap?
Yeah.
And I still wanted the session just to red flag at that moment for something like that.
It was just like...
It was throwback to that Brazil where Hulkenberg won it. No, it was Magnussen when he got the pole.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have him on pole for his last race would have been something, you know.
I mean, fair play to Gasly as well.
The back end of this year, Gasly has driven. And also, did you see that stat where Gasly hasn't had a single, broken wing?
He basically hasn't caused the team any crash damage at all. He hasn't cost the team anything.
Yeah, which is a fairly good achievement this season. Especially in this last race where they got to be brutish at times.
I think Albon's got the most at over 4 mil.
He's only got that because Sergio did half a season.
I was going to say, Sargent was pretty much up there.
Poor Williams have had it rough this year.
I mean, they were having to get, believe it or not, James came out and said, Mercedes have had to be generous to them, and Mercedes have actually had to give them parts.
Well, I did see him around the back of the McLaren garage with a tin of blue paint.
But no, Mercedes have had to give them parts just so they can get through the season.
Especially when we had like after Brazil, where they had 3 what would probably be write-offs in most people's worlds
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the space of a weekend. You know, you've got to
Um,
give them mechanics a massive round of applause to keep putting that car back.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the results haven't maybe given them the payback they deserve. But you
No.
never know with Sainz going in with Vowles at the helm. I could see Williams doing what McLaren have done over the last 2 years if things go their way.
With Sainz going in, obviously Albon there. Sainz, you know.
James Vowles is ex-Mercedes. He knows
Oh,
what
yeah.
he's doing.
Oh yeah, he does. And yet again, Yuki out driving Lawson.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit pissed at Sky, to be honest.
Oh, because they keep on going on about how Lawson would be taken.
Yeah.
Which to me,
No.
it's wrong. Yuki should get that opportunity.
Well,
He's
Yuki's
been
got
there
the
long enough.
test.
Well, Yuki's testing at the RB, isn't he?
Well, he
Probably
tested today.
today, yeah.
But the thing is, why should Lawson automatically get the pass to that second seat at Red Bull if it comes up?
Oh yeah.
Why Lawson?
I
What's
mean,
he done that's so fucking special? He's come in, caused nothing but fucking shit.
The thing is, though, RB haven't actually confirmed who their second driver is.
No, I know they haven't. But
Valtteri Bottas, step on up.
But why, why should Liam get the shot at the second seat in that car when Yuki's getting overlooked? And I think even Button.
The one thing I heard, I think it was another podcast anyway, and which I'm not saying I agree with this, but was the one justification was Lawson's been pretty much on a par with Yuki, you'd say. Not been a way off him, with a fraction of the seat time.
Nah, I don't agree.
I'm not saying I fully agree. I'm just saying this is how it was put where I was listening.
You could say that about Colpinto.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was being Sergeant, and to be fair, it wasn't difficult.
No, but he's still been quite. Okay, he's had a bad last few races, but before that, he was doing absolutely amazing work in that Williams.
Oh, it was. Did I not say to you, Chris, 2 or 3 podcasts ago that he was maybe making Albon look a little bit more average than maybe a lot of us are giving him credit for?
Yeah.
Because maybe Albon looked amazing next to Sargent.
Well,
Then you put somebody in with, similar abilities, and suddenly. I mean, I'm not saying this to be negative about Albon. I don't think he's a bad driver at all.
No.
I just think when Sargent couldn't keep it on the track, Albon was looking incredible. And once you got a level driver, actually, he's probably a bit more midfield than. But no, I get where you're both coming from, and at the end of the day, we don't know what. I mean, Yuki's been in the sport a lot of years at this point.
Yeah.
And has he shown pace and ability to win races? I mean, the fact there's a delay there says more than the answer.
Oh yeah, it is a tricky one,
I mean, if we're talking Perez is out, if that's what we're talking here, which I don't fully know,
yeah.
he would probably be the best choice if they decide to go internal. But don't forget, when Perez came in, they didn't go internal.
No.
So, like I've said, I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw a post. I'm pretty sure K-Mag is going to visit World Endurance Championship.
Yeah, he's going.
I saw a post from BMW where he never actually listed what sport it was in.
Yeah, he's going to do with BMW.
Yeah, I saw the BMW, but he never actually said what sport. I think it's World Endurance Championship.
I think so. It'd be something like that.
I think that's what they were saying. But I think that's what Martin was saying on the grid walk. They want to try and catch him.
Yeah.
They're going to endurance with BMW.
Yeah.
Which is great for him.
Now, if that's the case, then, like I say, we still have Bottas, who's currently unsigned. If Red Bull did want to bring outside in again, he's an X-race winner. He's proven history. Maybe not the last couple of years, but you could argue a lot of that's the car.
Obviously, I sent you something in the PlayStation chat. Don't look at it while.
Oh yeah. Saw that earlier.
And then maybe you've got something like, if Red Bull were to take a punt, what would Colapinto?
I think Williams want him as a reserve. I think.
Yeah, but the trouble is, or do they try and buy Drugovic out of Aston?
It'll cost. To be honest, Drugovic coming away from Aston will cost Williams too much.
No, I mean for Red Bull. I mean, if Red Bull wanted to.
Oh, if Red Bull, maybe.
I think Colapinto's a great fit for Williams at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we already know he's not there next year.
No, and that is a downside. I reckon though he will be on that grid within the next couple of years. I reckon he'll be on the grid.
Probably, yeah.
With a team.
I mean, word with Lawson, didn't he? He did that couple of races last year.
Well, don't forget, 2026 we're supposed to have a new team coming.
Yeah, if he gets to the Cadillac. Now, the rumour mill's fully alive on who's driving for that. I do not believe a single one of... I think I've seen everybody named apart from Sir Jackie Stewart.
I mean, they're gonna want.
Well, there was one I saw, and it was like, he said he's going to be like Webber and Ricardo. No, Vettel and Ricardo. No, Webber. No, it was Ricardo and Vettel. Confirmed. Cadillac driver lineup.
Now,
pint of whatever you've had to drink, please, my friend.
I'd like to see Vettel return, but it's not going to happen.
I think the way Vettel left the sport, it was perfectly clear we might see him at an odd race, which I don't think we have yet. But I don't think he has any intention of driving again.
Rosberg's coming back.
Yeah,
and as much as I like Button, he's a little bit on the old side now for a...
Button's doing with, believe it or not, Button is doing with
Cadillac,
with Cadillac, but in a different series.
So I could see him being an advisor to them for an F1 team. But I don't think he'd be a driver for them.
No.
Rosberg's coming back, told you.
Oh, I'd love that. The Hamilton fans have a field day with that one, wouldn't they? Actually, no. Because I want to be full-time F1 pundit now Damon Hill's leaving.
Damon Hill's left.
Yeah, I want Rosberg full-time now.
I'll take Rosberg over Danica Patrick.
Mate, I'd take the clap over Danica Patrick.
Yeah, but again, they had her on, and it's just like, fuck's sake.
And yes, I don't mind if you soundbite that one.
Yes.
I have as well, don't panic.
I haven't, but I will. See.
Anyway, qualifying 3 has been talked about somewhere in this mess.
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes, I mean, obviously Hamilton had issues, but even Russell's car seemed to be nowhere during qualifying.
Yeah. And to be honest, do you know what I want to happen for 2025 season?
Bring back Grid Girls.
No, fucking, I want Antonelli to come in and wipe the floor with him, with Russell. As much as Russell is a British driver and I like Russell, sort of, he's a bit... Yeah, I think at times he takes this whole head of the GPDR too far.
Oh, the war of worlds with him and Max was...
And it's gonna carry on.
Oh, of course it's... Did you see the photo from the meal? He said yes, they sat at Lando said yes, they sat at the end of the table.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Foster paid for that.
Oh yeah, about €5,000.
5,100 and something euro.
Yeah, because I think I sent you guys the reel.
Yeah, I'd seen the reel on.
But not every driver was there.
Well, they didn't invite Stroll because he'd only crash it.
Alonso weren't there.
And also, was it the Hulk wasn't there, or K-Mag? One of the house drivers wasn't.
One of the house drivers were there. Well, I mean, yeah. It was, fair play to Bottas to even get up to P9 in Q3.
Yeah. It was a shit. I actually voted for him for driver of the day in the race. I was hoping did they do like they did for Kimi that time and they give him that for his swan song, but I don't think it was undeserved, Leclerc. I mean, what was it 16th to 3rd. Spoilers.
But what the fuck did you... I'm going to come on to that.
Oh, here's Chris's patented "What the fuck were the FIA smoking this week?" rant.
No, not yet.
Oh, good. I'll put the soapbox back away then.
I mean, you know, qualifying was just the usual qualifying, apart from obviously Hulkenberg managing to get it up into 4th. McLaren was
going with that. I wonder where he was going with that sentence then, folks.
and then McLaren being on top.
Which, in the fight for the constructors, which I said going into this, I knew was McLaren's to lose. They were going the right way about securing it.
But everybody was saying, I think I said, and I shouldn't have done, was the track suited Ferrari.
And he actually probably did, because like I say, if you take Leclerc's performance, yeah, the track definitely worked for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't say as well afterwards that Hulkenberg getting the penalty for apparently overtaking in the tunnel. I mean, that kind of felt like kicking a puppy when they got it all the way up. I never actually saw the incident either, so I can't comment.
I did. But basically, when they were told they could go to grid.
It wasn't even. It was during the race. It was on the run up to the race, was it? Oh no, but it can't be because it was done on Saturday.
No, was it Saturday? No, I think
the announcement came out Saturday night.
Oh yeah, I know they were looking at one of the Hasses for doing a
start, yeah,
practice start.
I don't know if it ever came of that. Obviously, I'd say not because there's nothing on the end of the.
Because that was K-Mago, wasn't it? Yeah, no, it was on the. According to the starting grid, it was Hulkenberg penalised 3 positions for failing to follow race director's instructions. They never tell you what, they just say failing to follow race director's instructions. A race director that I imagine is probably not going to last much bloody longer.
Well.
They'll probably get halfway through the season and swap out again. Halfway through next season and swap. But, yeah, qualifying was just qualifying.
Yeah.
To be honest, I expected the Ferraris to be all over McLaren, but yeah, that didn't quite play.
Yeah, Leclerc's they went that way.
Considering that, you know, Leclerc had that penalty, so. But it just seems weird how. Well, not weird, but shows kind of how good reliability's been, considering that the battery the battery or whatever it was that Leclerc changed had been in the car since Bahrain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, now we've got to the point where they're only meant to use like 3 engine units. The reliability's gone up. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't make an engine that would last a full season. Because our road cars do far higher mileages than F1 race, but they do it at less heavily tuned.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even the speed. It's more that, I mean, back in the days when they were using a fresh engine for every session, they were running them that hard that they did blow up not long after the end of a race.
Well, we only have to go back to Carlos's engine grenading itself.
Yeah.
So then we get to the race.
Yes.
Like I say, a quick mention to the grid walk where say Bottas says, "I'm not done yet." You can read into that what you'd like, folks.
Well, yeah. I think he'll end up being reserve driver for Mercedes.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's all the sort of signs that I've seen.
You're probably right. Just part of me, and this feels weird coming from me, the idea of him taking Perez's seat is interesting.
I mean,
as much as I like Perez, he has not performed in that Red Bull. There's no 2 ways about it.
Well, I think Horner's now turned around and said that he actually regrets the decision to actually do the early contract. It backfired.
But, you know,
Yeah,
But
but
the idea that they come... Go ahead.
the thing is that was another thing that really got me a bit riled. It's like, yeah, you've regret that decision, but you know, if you actually stop trying to set his car up and stop putting so much high expectations on your second driver to be like Max, and maybe things might start
Well,
actually working.
Which I hope is, now that Max, we should probably say that, like, congratulations to Max and Kelly on the announcement. But you've got Kelly Piquet, the daughter of a 3-time world champion, Max, a photo champion, making a kid. Give us about 16 years till that gets on the grid. Before genetically engineering a race winner.
But I feel sorry for Perez. Because 1 minute, Horner come out publicly and said, well, it's up to him what he wants to do after Qatar. He said that.
Yeah.
To now saying what he said. It's like, you're not filling the guy with...
Well, that's the other thing. That's the thing I do dislike at times, because to me, you never say those things in public. Because that's just going to demoralise somebody.
Yeah, even
completely.
Further.
Publicly, you give the impression you've always got to be something from your driver.
Yeah.
In my book.
And, they're not... The second driver, whoever steps into the Red Bull, is not going to be like Max, because Max is just... I don't know. Max, when he gets into the car, he's just on a different level. Like Hamilton.
Yeah.
When Hamilton steps into the car, he's on another level. There's only a couple that are... There is actually only a couple of drivers as well, probably only them two, that seem to be able to pull off. Well, maybe... I can't really say Charles, because that's a one-off. That he... They can seem to just do this weird, inhuman thing where they can just drive like that.
Yeah.
But not many of the other drivers can. Not even Lando can. Oscar can. I know we're going about Perez, and we always say, that time on the Sakir outer, or the Bahrain outer loop, whatever it is, was 20th to 1st. That was one of them drives from Perez, and he's shown that a couple of times, that he's on another level. But I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I think Red Bull set Perez up to fail.
Oh, they have. But Horner's admitted Perez not had the car that he needs this year. Which is true. Yes, okay, he done really well to start off with at the beginning of the season. But since then, since the announcement of him extending his contract, he's actually only scored 45 points.
Yeah. I just don't. I just feel that Red Bull have set Perez up to fail. And it's not fair on Perez. Perez will never be on Max's level. Perez will probably bring himself to be on his own level, but people need to stop messing with his head.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't help. Obviously, our favourite doctor's there.
Yeah, he needs to disappear this winter and not return, basically.
Very successfully put.
Dr. Dickhead.
But not. They need to give Paris the same car. I mean, they screwed themselves over. Obviously, one by not giving Paris the same car as what Max has got.
Yeah.
But also, they screwed themselves over in the constructors. Okay, have they done that purposely so they actually get more wind tunnel time?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because the monetary value.
Oh yeah, but it
Eh.
also gives them that extra time in the wind tunnels and everything like that. So it's.
Yeah, I think I put this to you a couple of podcasts ago, mate, that Perez's sponsorship money, if that's outweighing the loss in prize money, as Alan said, they gain. In a way, you gain resources by finishing lower down.
Well, yeah.
Because it's more wind tunnel time, more.
CFD and all that lot.
So
with
it did. Don't get me wrong, they all want the prestige of coming as high as possible, but it's not the massive kick. At the end of the day, there's still 7 teams behind them, or 6.
Yeah.
So if their bad season is third,
I know.
what do you think Williams would say if he said you can have a bad season and finish third?
Williams would be probably happy with that.
So, it's.
But a question for you here, Chris.
Mm.
So obviously going back to the race, first lap, first
Yep.
corner. Should Max have done it?
Should Max have done what?
Dive bombed, basically. Should he have backed it out of that corner? No, he's got nothing to lose, basically. Or should he gone for it? Like he did.
At the end of the day, he's a racing driver, so of course he's going to go for it. If he could see a move, he'll make it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say, yes, he should go for it, because like I say, you always, drivers, you go for a gap.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, from Max's point of view, it's not like it's going to cost him a championship.
No. Was the penalty correct? Yes. Were the stewards being harsh with their penalties and everything? Were they very, very... were they trying to show how strict and shit they were? Yes.
I think they set a precedent, obviously, with the first one with Verstappen, that they had to then give 10 seconds to Piastri, even though it weren't as bad as...
Wasn't as bad as Max spinning.
No.
I honestly think this new race director and stewards are trying to run a harsher line now.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be ever since last race, the penalties last race seems to jump up a notch to what we've seen.
But is it working?
Well, Max seems to reckon they should give him 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was expecting I was expecting a more harsh penalty, or Max being dragged in front of the stewards for his branding of them as idiots. I was waiting for it. Didn't come. But
yeah.
Ever since the incident with the wing mirror at Qatar,
Yeah.
they've tried to tighten up a bit, and it's a bit late, to be honest. It's too late. Throughout this season, whether it was Niels Vittage or the other race director, I forget his name, even though the other race director was also doing the F2 and
F3 as well, wasn't it?
F3, but he wasn't doing the F1 Academy. Yes, there was probably a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but decisions weren't made properly.
Oh no, there was no inconsistency. There was all no consistency throughout the whole year.
Yeah. From either the race director or the stewards. So
yeah,
I say the FIA need to take a good, long, hard look at themselves as an organisation, but as it's been reported as well that a few key people have left the FIA.
Mm.
And as I alluded to last podcast, there's only one person I reckon is the reason why.
Mhm.
And he needs to be pulled in front of the higher ups at the FIA. Yes, he's the FIA president, but there are people above him still.
Yeah.
He needs to be brought in front of them. And an investigation needs to be done on his standard.
I reckon, me personally, I reckon there would be none of this crap nowadays if we still had Charlie Whiting.
It probably wouldn't.
No, you're right. You're right.
Everybody had respect for him.
Yeah.
You know, and they understood what he said was final, and people stuck to that. But as soon as we lost him,
It all went to shit.
and then Mikey got bought him.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, because John Todd was president at one point. And there was respect for John Todd as well.
Yes, race director. It's just.
Yeah, but that wasn't the race. It's. The problem is there's been too much stupidity within the FIA this season. You know, the swearing, the jewellery, the underpants, you know, there's just childish things.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I get the underpants thing. Safety, jewellery, safety. I get that, and I alluded to that in the last podcast. But yet again, you know, the whole swearing thing. It was just like, dude, grow a fucking pair of balls.
I mean, what's he going to do? Stop every driver from swearing over the radios and things like that? It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
No. But it wasn't that bothered me about that. It's the whole it's the whole racial thing he used, and he basically has gotten away with it at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. The fact that he's been is allowed to have been seen as being racist to a degree, and he's been allowed to get away with it. That's unacceptable. You know, this is a problem. And I don't understand why Liberty Media haven't kicked off about it. I know some of the drivers the drivers were very outspoken, Hamilton being one. Well, he's outspoken on quite a lot of things, but there was a whole We Racers one.
Oh, the sticker.
Well, the whole campaign thing that they tried to run, was it 2 years ago?
Oh no, was it like every dream needs a team or something like that, wasn't it, this time?
I don't know.
That was Mercedes.
That was Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because apparently Hamilton got his removed.
Yeah.
But no, the We Racers won. The whole racism, inclusion, all that sort of diversity bullshit that they ran.
Yeah, a couple of years ago now.
Where's that gone? You know, where's that message gone?
Yeah.
You know, they were supposed to be zero tolerant against all this, but yet they've allowed somebody of a governing body to technically come in and be technically, inverted commas, stereotype and be racist. That message means fuck all. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Like I said, he should be pulled up in front of higher ups and investigated. Because he's only no, not going down that. Not going. No, I'm stopping.
Should we get back to the race?
I'm checking myself on that one. Sorry, guys, you'll never know what I was about to say on that.
Should we get back to the race?
What about it?
What race?
It was
What,
shite.
we're talking about race? I wouldn't go that far. It had its moments.
The problem with Abu Dhabi is the field gets spread out way too much. I don't know.
I did love the little however it eventually worked out and nobody bothered overtaking in the first DRS zone. Because like you saved it and got them in the second one and they couldn't just fling back past you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was too much field spread. I don't know what you guys thought.
Well, they managed to lap up to car 11th place, didn't they? Which was Albon. Sainz was 6 seconds behind Norris, and then Leclerc was 31 seconds behind them.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's close between Hamilton and Russell. That's because I still reckon Russell let him through.
There was some of there, one though. He didn't fight him hard. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but we never actually saw what happened. Did we see what happened?
We got Shawnee after. I think it was after the.
It was on board Russell.
After the podium, we saw the onboard, which Alan probably missed from what he told me.
Yeah.
Before the podcast. But no, I mean, fastest lap for K-Mag was a nice touch at the end there.
Yeah.
Even though I don't get the point.
Which, yeah, I've had my debate on that.
We know you've edged a bit. Anybody who gets the fastest lap should get the point.
Yeah.
But
to me, that's simple. You get the fastest lap. It doesn't matter where you finish. Because, like I say,
yeah, but the fastest lap's getting abolished.
Which I disagree with.
Yeah.
But then again, yeah, this is it. I'm not in a position of power yet.
Zandvoort's coming off the calendar.
Bring back refueling.
That's never going to happen, is it?
It's not going to happen.
It was actually something I was going to say to you guys. And I'll say it now. I propose this isn't the last podcast. We do one more. Next week we do like a season review. I want you both there.
Yeah.
Having a bit of an F1 quiz. We'll do some.
Yeah,
we'll give out some awards. I'll give you a list of awards to hand out. And I was going to leave you with a question. If you could change one thing in Formula 1, what would it be? I have my answer. We'll do that next week. How does that sound?
Yeah.
What are we on next week?
Well, there's no race, obviously.
Yeah, no, we can do that. Yeah, we'll do the season review next week.
Because it gives us a chance to do. I want to do a bit of research before it. Because, like I say, I'm going to put a bit of a quiz together. That's why I was going to say I want Alan to be there as well.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to play you both off against each other for a bit of a quiz.
Not that we're competitive.
But, well, you'll be have to keep score then, David.
Oh, yeah, I'll do. I'll trust me. I've already got a couple of questions, so I just need to double check which I got my answers right and prepare for it. So I'll have all that there for next week.
You know, I mean, fair play to Oscar for, he had all that trouble, but managing to get back and at least score a point.
That's what you mentioned. Oscar, I mean, the way you ran into the back of Colapinto was a little bit clumsy.
I think the problem is, he was a bit pissed off. I think he let the frustration get the better of him because you could tell by when he was told that Max had the 10-second penalty, it was a brief
he just went
good. It was a whole move of a world champion or whatever it was. He said when he got hit, and it's like, yeah, he's going to be frustrated. So of course, I think that's going to affect him. But then, when he sort of calmed down, calmed down a little bit more, he managed to get that car back.
I mean, Max did apologise to him after the race.
Which, to be fair, on Max, good. Because I think I did catch the interview with Oscar, and he did say that Max had apologised after the race, and I thought, good.
As we alluded to earlier on, Max was always going to go for that gap. He's a racing driver. He's going to have a go. Yeah. Now, we've spent quite a lot of this podcast season saying how the first corner you should be allowed to get away with a little bit more. Because it's the first corner, and we want guys having a go.
And I must admit, the race director and all that, they actually do a lot of times let those first lap incidents go, first corner incidents go.
But they didn't this time.
No,
they didn't.
You could argue the fact that Oscar could have left him a little bit more room.
Oscar
Yeah.
didn't have much room.
No, but going into the corner, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
you know, but it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I actually agree. I actually do agree with Chris. I think the penalty was maybe on the harsher side, but wasn't
I think
unjustifiable.
because we've seen those sorts of passes in the past, especially this year, you know, and a lot of times they've been given a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, they've had to.
Like I say, I think this new race director and stewards have got together and have decided they're tightening up on things.
It's not that. I think they'd. Going forward, they've rewritten the penalty regs. So what would have been a 5-second now has become 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I think there's been a
we've discussed this season. 5-second penalties were nothing.
No, because
drivers were overtaking off track, dropping a 5-second penalty and moving off 6 seconds up the road.
Well, exactly, and that's why I think they brought it in to be 10 seconds, because then there's kind of no, unless you're out front, like Lando was, you're not escaping that penalty.
It's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult, yeah, I agree with that.
And that's why they're doing it.
Fair play to Lando, you know, he actually got pole and he actually won it from pole.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention something in qualifying. It's just gone out of my bloody head again now. Oh.
Can't have been that important then.
It kind of was. Nope, it's gone. It might come back to me, so just bear with me on that one.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's, you can't really say much about the race. There wasn't much. It was good. Wasn't as boring as some of the other ones we've had.
Wasn't boring. Wasn't boring as Monaco.
obviously, Stroll got with 5-second time penalty for track limit infringements.
Yeah. Now, there is one thing I want to put to you two here.
Yep.
What did you think of Hamilton's drive, considering where he started?
It was a solid performance. It was a good performance. I don't think Russell fought him too hard, as we've already said.
Yeah, but I think Russell's tyres were shot.
Yeah.
I think
the team probably just gave him everything the car could for the last race, because it doesn't matter if it blows up. Really?
I think he had a really good, obviously, for his last race with them. Obviously, you saw what he's capable of.
It was
something you missed all season with him, sort of thing.
And the problem is,
a solid drive.
I'm gonna say it. You know, it was a drive of a world champion. You can see why he was a world champion as many times as he is. I did like at the end of the race where he got to do the donuts and got to put the car with the top three.
Yeah, but to me, they should. I mean, you couldn't have allowed Bottas because his car retired. You should maybe have allowed Magnussen retired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, they should maybe have allowed Magnussen at that point as well.
Magnussen, because Bottas was out.
Bottas's car was retired because after he crashed into Magnussen, ironically. I like he had a cracking shot where I think it was Brundle and Crofter were talking like, "Is the car? Do you think he's bad?" And you could see the bottom steering arm was snapped off.
Yeah.
Like they're thinking, you know, one front wheel was looking left, the other was looking right. Yes, I think he's got issues.
It's the fact that he actually tried chasing tyres.
Yeah. Oh, we should mention that as well. Lawson leaving the pitch with a tyre not attached.
Yeah.
How did that not come off?
Kind of lucky, I guess.
How did that not fall off?
But the thing was, he wasn't exactly limping it back round either.
No, I heard that. I think Brundle said he's going slow. He could do a shot of him. He didn't look that bloody slow to me.
It wasn't. Definitely not going slow.
But it was the fact that obviously they dropped him. He went, stopped, and then went.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the nut had gone on a couple of turns, but hadn't
fully gone on.
Yeah,
but there was a green light given.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was it. He was dropped green light. You don't care about anything else. You get dropped. You see green, and you go.
You have to, because if you don't, that delay while you think about it,
Yeah,
is a lifetime in Formula One.
Yeah, so I don't understand.
I assume the team are going to have a fine coming for that, because
I would say so, because that was it's technically classed as an unsafe release.
it's an unsafe release, yeah. You disappear slam dunk. You find the teams for it.
It wasn't the driver's fault. Well,
Oh yeah.
no, it's not the driver's fault. It's the team's, because the green light was on. The pole thing.
that's it. He'd been dropped. The front Jackman had moved.
Hmm.
You got no sense in the car to tell you that wheel's not on properly. That's what the team's down for too. That's why they got that's why they got the LEDs on the wheel guns now. When they turn green, they know it's tight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where was the fuck
You
up?
can't blame him.
No, but where was the fuck up then? Because there had to be a fuck up somewhere within that to get that green light to go on at the top for him to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows about that one? And I mean, Guan Yu Zhou didn't have a bad race, but obviously we're not going to be seeing him again either.
Unfortunately, we are seeing Lance Stroll.
Don't make me bring 2021 up. I knew that's why you said it, because you know I dislike Stroll at this point. And I do dislike Stroll.
You know, but it was an okay race. It's not obviously one of the best ones this season so far.
But no, next week we'll talk about that. We'll go through all that.
I just think it'd be good to do like a bit of a season review, but not rather than dump it on us tonight.
Yeah.
It gives us a week to think about it.
Go back and maybe see.
My plan is to go back and look through a few reviews on the F1 YouTube, highlight reels on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because I want to see what's what.
Because I'll be brutally honest, there's a lot of this season I can't remember.
Yeah. Because it's a long season.
It's a long season, as well as everything else that's gone on in life. I cannot remember every minute detail.
I mean, fair play to Alonso scoring 2 points.
Yeah.
Obviously, Hulkenberg.
Yep, before he's moved to Audi next year, is it not?
Yep.
Obviously, fair play to Alpine overall. You know, I think they've done really well.
I think they've turned it round from the start of the season.
Oh, massively.
I mean,
And as we were saying, was it just before the podcast? Pierre not having a single bit of damage all season?
yeah, he's cost Alpine nothing.
I mean, that can either say he's done really well or he really hasn't tried hard enough, depending on your viewpoint.
But if
I'm with a British touring car fan, so for me, he's not tried hard enough.
No, but if you, the problem is, you can't say that, because if you look at
Oh no, I'm joking.
No, but I'm saying if you look at Ocon on the Drivers' Championship, he only scored 23 points. Yeah?
Yeah.
Gasly, 42.
Good number.
So most of Alpine's points...
That's what I wanted to look at. Alpine just got 6th there.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I love McLaren's points at the end.
666, I know. There was at one point where I was begging somebody to take the fastest lap back off Lando, who's been on 667. I was like, no, come on, we need it. The final gap at the end of 14 points.
And, you know, there was a nice little battle for the constructors going on between
Alpine, Haas, and RB were all
yeah
right in it at the end. Like I say, I actually thought I kind of wanted Haas to get it just because of who they are, because they're such a small operation.
I think you think they've got half the numbers compared to some of these other teams around
It's
them.
less than half. And compared to like Mercedes, it's
well, that's only
yeah,
but that's only because Gene's a stingy bastard and won't put cash in.
Well, he obviously didn't pay Gunther that well. The bloke's having to do a tour.
And sell books, which I'm
Yeah.
actually getting his books for Christmas. So I'm getting his unfiltered books for Christmas. One of
Well,
his
you hoping to get it signed?
No,
Yeah.
I wish
It'll be
I
interesting
could
when
have.
It'll be interesting when Cadillac come in because obviously that'll be another American team to compete with.
Yeah, but they're going to
Jeep.
want an American driver. But that's obviously going to be. Fuck off. That's going to be something we're going to discuss
Yeah.
next week.
That's what Brad Pitt's training for, isn't it?
Did you hear what they did to Leclerc and Russell?
What?
So after the podium, they then had to go. They all left this podium, and they had to come back out.
With Brad Pitt, didn't they, for a scene?
I don't think it was Brad Pitt. I think it was just one of the other people in it to do a podium, in which Leclerc finished second, Russell finished third.
Fair enough.
But I still want to see that when it comes out next year,
Oh, I'll be seeing it. There's no two ways about it.
Probably
June
will.
25th.
Oh, what it is. I'll
But
be seeing it.
before we do the final thoughts of the race, it's time to. I'm going to go and have a look at something here.
Oh. Yeah, you'll. I nearly screwed myself.
Oh.
I so nearly screwed myself. I forgot, didn't I?
Now I knew. Unfortunately, I knew what I was doing.
I'm glad you knew what you were doing because no bugger else did.
Hence why I kept that chip right until the end.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I used mine in China and it backfired.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Alan, I fully admit I used all my chips too early.
Yeah, that Limitless chip was one I was going to keep for the final race of the season.
It was that sense off stream today, but it was obviously going from last year's with the Limitless where it was used all season. Because that's what I did. Obviously, my own fault for not reading properly. That's what I did, expecting it to be for the whole season.
Yeah,
Then
no.
and it's one of them things that it happens.
But the gap between me and Ryan at the end.
20 points.
I mean,
like I say, I messed up.
but
I forgot.
obviously,
you reminded me of that first time. I forgot. Take Ocon out.
You forgot to take Ocon, so that screwed you.
Well, clearly
Bottas.
it didn't. And Colapinto and Sauber.
Yeah. Well,
it wasn't quite the Alan's negative finish that time,
no.
but
obviously, Colapinto hurt.
Between me and Ryan.
Colapinto hurt all of yours.
Yeah.
And I dropped after Colapinto's second crash. I actually dropped him. I swapped him out. I'm sure I did.
Oh, so you got 320 points this weekend.
Yeah, because I played my Limitless chip and
literally
put Max, Oscar, Lando, Sainz and Leclerc.
Yeah.
And then McLaren and Ferrari. So I knew that was going to be a strong.
Although your 2 times on Leclerc would have done you even more, but.
I know.
But there you go. Like I say, if I'd have taken Ocon out, I'd have. But and then I still just take it, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not unhappy about.
And,
fair play, can I just say, Ryan, well done, mate. You dragged me to the end, didn't you?
But my aim, David, was to do what I set out to you, and I said I was going to do. Was to beat Alan. That was my target for that last race.
I said to you at the end of the last one, there was basically 2 sets. One there was me and Ryan and you and Alan, and we were both really close together.
Yeah.
You beat me by 175 points.
Yeah, which my aim was basically for that last race was just to go out, and I knew I couldn't catch the top 2. It was a case of I need to beat on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gap between you and Ryan. If you'd have made your change, who would you have gone for there?
I don't know, because I'd have to look at what the money situation was. I'd have probably thrown someone like Joe in or something. Because if you think, I can't. I don't think it'll let me look at the figures now to change teams. So
No.
I'd have had to have looked at what Ocon was worth, and would he have got me like a Gasly or something like that?
Hmm. But yeah, no, fair play to.
Fair play to Ryan, mate. I hope you're back with us next season. Because if we get a full season with him, it'll be very interesting.
Okay, as I said to you, he didn't join us in the first race.
No, he joined us in.
It's still just after the second race, Saudi.
He joined us in Saudi.
So if he'd have come in at race 1, we could have been in a different place here.
Yeah, considering he coming at Saudi, and then from there, literally.
Yeah, Saudi was his first one, and he only came third there.
Yeah, he came first in Australia.
And then first in Australia.
Last in Japan.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to go through them race by race, but
it's
basically well done to him. I want to tip my hat to him. It was a very close fight.
I said it.
Really.
Well, that's what I said. I said it would be close between you two.
Oh yeah, and I always said it would be what it would be. I always said, and I thought I had a good chance. And as I say, 20 points over 24 races, and God knows how many, over 4,000 points, near enough.
Yeah.
The difference is 20.
Oh yeah.
My biggest loss was Monaco.
Was that where you got the minus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, over this way, I think my save was similar to Max's at the end of qualifying, which we never mentioned in the podcast.
We didn't. No.
When he was sort of facing the pit wall at full throttle. You know.
And that was the thing. If you actually look at your personal performance for your team on the homepage for the fantasy league, it's completely up and down all season until.
And that's a sign of the type of season it's been.
Yeah, and then until sort of United, till quarter, and then Qatar, and then obviously Yas Marina was the one that put the peak up on for mine.
And I must admit, China.
Mine's been pretty steady since Canada. Obviously, it peaked as around Azerbaijan, Baku.
Yeah.
Then it sort of dipped, and then but it stayed sort of stable all the way through there. So I'm not gonna.
And I'm hoping that we.
Hey, I'm in the top 500,000 players in the global leaderboard. I'm top 18%.
And I'm hoping that next year we can. Get it done
a bit sooner and get a few more of you listeners in.
And get a lot more of you.
Your listeners in, yeah.
Listeners into it.
We'll keep an eye, and as soon as it's available, we'll get things set up.
That's interesting.
What?
Top 5 highest point scoring drivers, plus the top 2 highest point scoring constructors.
Was McLaren, Ferrari, Leclerc, Oscar, Guan Yu Zhou, K-Mag, and Hulkenberg. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting season next year. Especially even in the fantasy league, because there's going to be drivers within the grid that we technically don't know how they're going to perform.
No, it's going to be wait to be seen, isn't it? Yeah. Also, see what they change about the rules. See if they make, what they give us in terms of money and that.
Yeah. So, you got any final thoughts on the race before we finish?
Not on the race in particular, no. Just sad to see the back of Magnussen, Bottas, potentially Joe. we hope to see him around in some form or another. I'm sure they'll do fairly fine for themselves, and you know, Leclerc's performance has to be said that he was always dubbed Mr. Saturday. I think he kind of shook that off a little bit this weekend,
Yeah.
and that's about it from me.
I think I'd say it's the same.
It was an interesting race, but we've had possibly better Abu Dhabis. And no, I'm not referring to 2021 before anybody tries to call me out on that.
Why I would.
We won't go there.
But I'm not, I'm not referring to 2021. Just they tried to change the track. Sometimes it's if they stop messing around with DRS zones, then either lengthening them, shortening them, doing all this lot, and maybe things might become a little bit better. But we'll see see what happens with Abu Dhabi next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for now, obviously, don't forget this releases at 3 p.m. and obviously we have that one next week to do our season review.
Yeah.
Obviously, just want to say thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to Alan and David for being here.
Welcome as always.
Pleasure as always, man.
And don't forget to go visit the YouTube channel. And we shall see you for the next one. So, until then.
Adios, amigos.
So long, and thanks for the fish.
Goodbye for now.